Hi everyone, my name is Ray and welcome to Tiki with Ray Live. Today we are at Endless Summer, number 3. Are y'all having a good time out there? Awesome. And I'll tell you what, Grant, thank you very much for putting this on. I mean, it's my favorite event out of anything I go to. It's just so relaxing, it's perfect, and it's just, you take care of us, you feed us, you drink us, give me a place to stay, so thank you. And everyone out there, let's give him and Tina a round of applause.
It really, all the credit needs to go to Tina because she lets me do this.
And she puts up with us.
She tolerates me. She's the most understanding wife ever.
So today we're going to be talking about theming in a tiki bar. And okay, so right off the bat, Stephen, how important do you think theming is when it comes to a home tiki bar?
I think for a bar, a theme is important. What makes a home bar unique is that people bring their idiosyncratic points of view. And with that, either they start off with a theme, or because of the way one develops your collection or your bar, it develops its own theme, which leads to a story, which is why home tiki bars are great, because they have a point of view. So for me, the importance is less, I mean, I can't think of a home tiki bar I haven't enjoyed, and what I enjoy about it is whether there's everything from expensive, high-quality art to, you know, inexpensive tchotchkes or whatever it is, it's that a person or people have brought together their point of view and their story. And usually, like I say, sometimes it's implicit, sometimes it's on purpose, it's explicit. There's a theme riding through it. And so for me, that's what makes a home tiki bar and why I've enjoyed them so much, and why I think there's something special. It's the theme.
I started off with a little bit of a theme just to get my colors right for my walls and my ceiling and stuff like that. We found a Tommy Bahama themed house that was part of an interior design competition in Florida like 10 years ago. And we liked the way they did the ceiling, the colors for the walls, all that stuff. My tiki bar doesn't have a ton of thatch and a bunch of the other wall decor you see in a lot of rooms, but we have the bamboo ceiling, and the trim work and everything like that in our tiki room is the same as that. But that's really about, for me, as far as I went with a theme. I've got pirate in here. I've got classic tiki in here. I've got Papua New Guinea tribal stuff in here. I've got Adventureland stuff in here. I'm kind of quirky. If you guys know me, it's just for my personality. I don't stay on a straight path. Just never. So my room, like every corner, everything is different. And I love it because people come in here, like Jack comes in here. You come in here, Ray. Everybody gravitates to different things. It's like going to a car show with a couple different cars. People see different things. They love different things. So I like just a diversity. I don't want to have a pirate-themed bar anymore. I don't want to have a straight tiki bar. I have a few things I kind of like. I'm not putting Star Wars in here, but I love having my Adventureland, my pirates. I'm wearing a Jungle Cruise shirt today. So if you know me, I'm kind of eclectic and I bounce all over the place, aka my bar.
So my understanding is we were talking about themed tiki bars. So
Yes.
now that you went completely off the rails on themed, you have no theme, is what you're saying.
Correct.
It is, shit is everywhere, and it's has no rhyme or reason.
So your theme is bric-a-brac, is that what?
Layers. Just
Layers. And layers is a theme. So as everybody in this room knows, we're Water's House of Tiki. We have moved to a new home. I have slacked off. I don't have our bars ready. After this, I don't think I'm going to get away with slacking off any further, so we're going to have to get it done. The first set of bars that we did, the first bar had no theme. It was a layered setup. It was just whatever we could find, whatever Heather could find, you know, to get us started. And it kind of created its own theme when we started, which was pretty much kind of if you were castaway on an island, this is everything that just kept washing up on shore, or if there was visitors on boats, you know, and you're trading and grabbing stuff in there. second bar that we built in that particular house was the Heather's bar, which was all Polynesian, all Hawaiiana. Everything down there was just based on that, and everything in that room was focused on the islands. And then the third bar that we had was more kind of nautical. It was pretty much all the leftover crap that she kept buying, but it fit perfect. It was the leftover lounge. The new house, so I think this is a good topic that we're talking about, and I'm not going to hold the mic too long on it, but so I'm focusing on themes on what we're building on this new bar. And it's multiple areas in the bar. We'll actually have a full pirate bar. And I think for people that are starting their own, tiki bar in their homes, you don't have to theme it, but it can ultimately work into a theme on what you're doing in there. I think it's just getting started and feel what you can find. And then, kind of like our last year when we talked about anchors.
Yes.
To have that anchor will drive you into the theme that makes your bar you. And in our particular case, we're lucky enough to have a lot of space. So it's moved into where we will have a pirate bar. We're converting the wine cellar in this house into a full-on, we're going to have bars, coming down like a jail cell. It's going to have a little Disney-esque to it, kind of hearing the dog, and whistling for the dog in the background for the keys and whatnot. And then it worked out great because in this house, I have another area that is going to be, African safari. So I did procure a hyena fighting a leopard over a gazelle.
Yes, you did.
And I had nowhere to put this thing. It sat in the garage for 3 years, and I finally found a place for it. It fit. So I've added, by going to the Curiosity show every year, I've got a water buffalo now, I've got a wildebeest, I've got a boar, I got monkey, I got all kinds of stuff. But it's that area is going to kind of submerge you into kind of the safari type, feel and theme on it. The house that we're in, it already had a full bar, and that's kind of like a British pub style bar, which actually works good near those two areas just for, colonization and just the whole thought on it. So it works together. Then we're going to go into back into the Hawaiiana, and then multiple other areas in there. But our situation here is kind of an extreme, but we all started somewhere. And I love the fact of people just kind of finding what they like. Kevin, for instance, his trailer that he just purchased, he's got an amazing antique trailer out there. Right when you go in there, it's like a little mini tiki bar starting to come to life, and you've only got 1 month in that trailer, so it's pretty cool. So it's to kind of find what you're looking for.
So here's a question for you guys. So when it comes to theming, do you think it's better to start off with that theme in your mind, or is it better to let it evolve over time?
Well, to me, it depends. Most people start off with a collection of things, or they acquire things to put in their bar. So I call that the organic theming. You start off with what you love, and then the theme and story develops. My bar, which unlike these guys, I have limited space. Mine's a modest size. We're 10 by 20 feet. I started off trying to figure out what the bar was, and it was mid-century modern 1960s feel. And I started with that and then added what you might call tiki elements loosely into it as part of the collection. I call it, and I've called this before, and it's a very clunky, is Pan-Pacific pop surrealism with a very 60s, almost, but for a tiki bar, streamlined in terms of its look and feel. And so I started a little more thematically, and it developed. And then the third way that people have developed is they have a story they want to tell. Whether it's a Disney story, a Jungle Book, or there's a whole backstory developed, and they sort of develop it that way. I don't think any way is better than the other. Whether it's organic, as I call it, and it evolves, because as long as it's what you love, your collection is what you love, it'll drive eventually a theme and story, even if it's an extensive as this bar, all sorts of a variety of things. It's still got a unique look, feel. So however you start, it doesn't matter. It's just don't be afraid to have a point of view and own that point of view. And don't worry if it's pure classic tiki or it's pure whatever, a genre or a box. Get out of the box. Do what you want and what you love, and then people will appreciate what you've created.
When I built this garage and did this setup, this was going to be a full pirate bar. Like, I've got all these can lights. I hadn't even discovered tiki yet. I was going to be pirate because I've been Ren Fair pirate guy forever.
And you're a Buccaneers fan,
I'm a
right?
Buccaneers fan. Well, and really, it's everybody else's fault for not being a Buccaneers fan. But because really, I mean, like, I don't even understand anybody else. But anyways, so originally I was going to be ship rigging, stained sails across my ceilings. All my cans were going to be hidden. Buccaneers gear, football and pirate gear all through here. And then I discovered tiki, and I was like, holy, this matches up with my love for mid-century stuff, my classic car stuff. Let's do tiki. So all of a sudden I'm switching gears, and because my tiki bar is kind of not small, it was really just trying to fill space for a long time. Like, if you look at my bar now, there is stuff downstairs and stuff I've sold because I started off just buying anything and everything to fill the space. Having a big bar, like we have 38 people here right now, and it's comfortable. We're not even full, and I've had as many people as 60 in here, and with multiple bartenders and all that stuff. And so it's transitioned from pirate bar to tiki bar, and then I just went full eclectic because I've traveled a lot, done different things, and so my actual theme has lost focus. So I'm more of whatever corner you look at, there's something different, right? I've never, like, in the beginning I was diehard pirate, and now, and now I'm like Adventureland, Jungle Cruise. I actually kind of follow the map, right? It's like whatever's tiki is in here. I've got enchanted tiki room stuff, so I just kind of change and morph. But the old stuff that I started buying just to fill the walls, the Amazon, the cheap kind of stuff, the clown tiki is now gone, and now I've got Oceanic Arts and Whitco and Bosco and different stuff, and a whole lot of Papua New Guinea actual artifacts and stuff like that. And like Don, the last video, referred to my place as the museum. So in all honesty, he might be right as far as my theme, because last video I said I have no theme, and he goes, nope, you're the museum. So I still might be at the museum, but I like my eclectic craziness.
It is the museum. Yes, you are crazy.
And I was going to say, Don, I mean, the thing about with Heather is she actually has sold a lot of the other stuff that you got, and then she got rid of it.
What did she sell?
I've never heard of this.
She sold nothing.
I know, that's why I said it.
You know. Haven't packed everything yet.
Absolutely not.
Heather has kept everything that she has bought.
I have furniture in the back of the truck now. So, yes, Grant definitely, he has a theme. And I joked with him before it when I talked last time. He does. He's very focused on culturally, correct items that he purchases, and he's very dialed on what he looks for, and on his mug collection. He's got an amazing mug collection. For myself, I'm not a big mug collector. I mean, we'll pick them up as they come, but to put that much money into that part of the collection is really hard for people. And what I like is it doesn't matter how big your space is. I've seen amazing, very small, well done tiki bars that just kind of, it's all about escapism. It's all about that place, Whether you want to load it with 50 people or you just want to have yourself in there, I spend a lot of time in my own bar, you know, and my wife Heather, she's not a drinker at all, but it's just the ability to just have a place that's our own. And I think themes aren't important. I think they'll come. I think it's just making that spot for yourself that makes you happy and gives you something to kind of collect, but actually have a reason to collect. There's a lot of collections that happen and they just go in the closet. They don't go anywhere. To come up with a space like this, it gives you a place to display. And even if you don't have a bunch of people over, just a couple of friends, it's amazing. And when we talk about Clown Tiki's kind of, we joke about it. Dude, I've seen some amazing bars that have some really cool eclectic stuff. And this guy had a lot of Clown Tiki to start. Okay, he's done a lot. I mean, it changes because if you're truly into it, you'll keep looking for those next treasures, and all you're doing is you're taking this off and then you're putting the next one up. And in my case, it never gets sold. I just try to give it away when she's not home. But at that point, I mean, it's finding what makes you happy.
So here's a question for you guys. Has your interest in Tiki evolved as what you liked about it or what you got into? And then how did that, or did it affect your bar?
So yes, I guess the answer, I mean, everybody, especially those of us with more limited space, you know, things evolve, things rotate through. You find things, and you know, the mug shelf was full 5 years ago when my bar was ready. So my favorite mugs as I acquire more, I've had to rotate through, or I have areas where there are thematic mugs with themes. And yes, you know, for me, because again, I didn't come into it to build a tiki bar. I came in to build a mid-century, modern, immersive bar with some art that I liked. That's how I backed into tiki. And so, and then I just was accepted into this community of people who are now, you know, my closest friends. And seeing other people, sharing stories, learning the history. So yeah, it's evolved some, my appreciation and taste for it, but you know, my taste is my taste. And again, I'm not worried about fitting in a box. So yes, there's been an evolution. And I came into it kind of through the back way, but you know, I'm happy I did.
I've been drinking. What was the question again?
The question is has your interest in Tiki, the things that you love, and has it evolved and changed, and how has that affected your Tiki bar? Or did it?
Oh, it's changed 100%. So, like I said, I built my shop. My toys are downstairs, my boat, our RV, and all this stuff. And we ended up with this 1,600 square feet up here for a home bar. And it was supposed to be a pirate bar. And then all of a sudden I'm like at Trader Sam's and I'm like, oh my God, I love this. And then we started checking out some other stuff, and all of a sudden I'm into Tiki. I mean, it was like literally like a 2 week, like all of a sudden like, whoa, what is this, right? And so dove into Tiki. I'm hanging drywall in here, and I'm looking at this bar going, it could be a Tiki bar, not a pirate bar. And it just changed. And then all of a sudden I got this giant space I'm trying to fill. And like Don says, Clown Tiki started it. And then all of a sudden I'm like, a couple Whitco pieces showed up. And then I've got Papua New Guinea pieces in here. And it just keeps changing. Even now, I'm still changing always. And like right now, one of my favorite things is Shrunken Heads and the Cannibal Trio.
My views have changed on it. I mean, Heather kind of thrust us into this whole Tiki thing in 2015.
Heather's fault.
It is her fault. She just needed a reason to shop. But the fact that, you know, it gave her and I something to do. Our kids are out of the house. I mean, we've got grandkids and everything. And as hard as I work and as hard as she works, it gives us something together to be involved with. And it's not about us up here and what we have. And Steven's bar is amazing. Rock and Jellyfish. And if I would say themed, out of us up here, he has the most themed bar. It is so focused on art. It's so focused on mid-modern. It has a whole different feel to it. And when I went into his bar, I'm thinking, oh my God, mine's just a full-on mishmash of crap.
100%.
But it's a whole look, though. You know, after you look at it, it's like, okay, well, that's just my style. You know, that's how I like it. And I think for me, just to kind of finish this up, is if you're out there and you're looking to do something, you're looking to create your own space, it doesn't have to be tiki. It could be Western. I've had multiple bars over the years. I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. I'm 52 now. My first bar was kind of a full-on back deck, you know, party sports bar. My next bar was like a whorehouse bordello style bar that I built.
Why didn't I know you back then?
Yeah,
I know, you know, and it just kind of rolled into this next level when we discovered Tiki, and it's like, wow, we're going to do this. Okay, this is how we're going to get in and do it. So it's just finding that space for you, finding what makes you happy, you know, and then just go into it. Just go all out with it. So.
Yeah, and that's I mean, one thing that I like to go on about is moving. I mean, Tiki is such a convenient label, but what many of us are into is the Tiki adjacent, but it's building an immersive environment. That's what we're all about here. I don't think any of us are purists that it has to be this thing or this thing is unacceptable. If it is something that it floats your boat and builds into your escapist environment. And so, you know, I can't think of another term. Like I say, I use that highfalutin, you know, term for my bar, but I wish I could think of another term that was as convenient or comes trippingly off the tongue like Tiki to describe an immersive environment. And most of them are heavily influenced by Tiki and Tiki adjacent, and that's where it comes from. But yeah, escapism, immersion, and that's what ties into what we're talking about theming, is you create a look and feel, and you do your own thing. So the only you know time I've ever disagreed with anybody about a home tiki bar is the person was building it and said, well, I have to have this because it's tiki, or I have to have this, and I go, you know, bullshit. No, you build the collection that you love, and everybody who enters that world will appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm bringing this all together and adding on to what everyone has said here. I think, you know, I honestly think what you're going to see, or what we are seeing, is, you know, you say tiki bar. Well, I think you're starting to see a lot of bars out there that they're not tiki bars, but they're following the tiki template, where it's a theme bar. It may not be tiki per se, but you know, they got the specific music. It's an immersive environment. They got the mugs, the cocktails. Perfect example of that is Stray Pirate. You go to Stray Pirate in Las Vegas, there's nothing really like tiki about it. It's very nautical, and there's a lot of pictures of dogs on it. I mean, but it's a tiki bar. You know, it's that kind of thing. And I agree with all you guys that it's like, do whatever you want. And I think as far as a theme, or let alone a story, I think it's going to be your own story.
My message to people is having a place that's yours. And if you want to call it tiki, call it tiki. If it has those aesthetics that you're looking for, do that. But not everybody might be into that. And it's having something that you built yourself. I have amazing ideas for like garage bars. I mean, we're into cars. Both of you and I are into cars. You and I can both build amazing garage bars, you know, to come in there.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, the message I want to put out there, yeah, we're in Tiki. I'm in Tiki all in, but yet I'm building a safari bar. I'm building a pirate bar. You know, I have, you know, these other visions. Take the space that you have and maximize the space that you have.
Let's turn it over to you guys. Do you have any questions at all for these guys? Anyone?
How much is too much?
Joe is saying how much is too much.
I'm gonna say as long as you got 6 inches of space
Yeah,
on your
as long
walls,
as it fits,
you've got room for more stuff.
I agree.
Like I am a huge bar as far as what a lot of people think of as a tiki room. And I've got finally, after 7 or 8 years of building this bar, I'm finally to the point where one thing comes in the room, I have to move 3 things to get it onto the wall, right? And I still sit here talking to you guys and talking about the subject. I'm looking at the ceiling, like, I could move those oars up there. That anchor could go up there. That tablecloth needs to go up there. So I'm always, and like people come over, they're like, you've moved stuff around or you've changed things. I'm like, yeah, because I bought one thing. So to just to fit it in there, it's going up, right? So I don't know if there's ever too much, but there's also growth in what you like and what you don't like. So if I find like Heather selling something or Jim selling something or whatever that's amazing and I have to have it, I will buy it and then I'll find out what I don't need, right? And so something else might change. Something I bought 3 years ago might be amazing until it's not. So there's always an evolution and always changing. So
I think it's really cool to be able to talk to the point where we're at right now in our lives and what we're building. Again, I want to keep going back to the people that are starting their tiki bars. They're starting their escapism. They're starting that. And there is an amazing amount of artists out there. There's an amazing amount of stuff out there. And I think for the people that are just looking for some guidance on how to do it, just get out there, get into, the Goodwills and the thrift stores. And Heather and I used to talk a lot about this. A lot of the pieces she bought are vacations from far, far away a long, long time ago. And these kids, they've inherited, their grandparents or their parents' belongings, and they just dump them into, all of these other areas, Goodwills, and we feel that it's like we're saving it and getting it, rescuing it. Great word for it. And that's a great start because it doesn't have to cost a lot.
No, not
I
at all.
joke, and she's out buying all kinds of crap continuously. But I'll tell you what, and it's not even that she's frugal. She's just smart on what she's buying, and she's finding amazing treasures that when she's bringing this stuff home, you look at this piece and it's like it's from some far off land, who knows where, but it's not from here. And it was somebody's keepsake that they bought. And that's a great way to get started on what you're building.
Jason, you got a question?
Yeah, how can a home tiki bar ever truly be finished? And if so, how would you know?
Well, yeah, the first answer, as everyone just yelled out, is never. The second answer is, how do you know? I don't know. When you're dead? I'm not sure.
Yes. Yeah, there you go. That is the answer. The home tiki bar is finished when you're dead.